Crime Clueless. We're your hosts. I'm Jenna.
And I'm Shannon.
I have Shannon co-hosting the How to Survive series with me. Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah, Shannon is one of my great friends and a true crime aficionado. She has teen daughters, and when we were talking about this series, we thought it would be great to help keep them safe, their friends safe, our friends, everybody. Yes,
everyone.
It's so important.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
It's going to be such a good series. I can't wait to dive into this stuff. We've got actionable tips and steps to help survive all sorts of things.
Amazing.
Today, we're going to start with stalking, which is so scary. And I feel like I keep hearing cases about this. It was a good one to start with. Well, Shannon, should we dive right in?
Absolutely.
All right. Imagine this. You're leaving work late. The parking lot is almost empty, except for one car that's been parked near yours all week. You don't think much of it until the driver gets out.
You fumble with your keys. He's walking towards you now. Your heart's pounding. Maybe he's just heading to his own car, except he doesn't have one.
So you pick up the pace. He does too. You reach your car and slam the door shut, locking it as fast as humanly possible. You tell yourself, it's just a weird coincidence.
Until the next morning when you get a text from an unknown number. That blue sweater looks really good on you.
That, my friends, is a giant red flag the size of Texas. And if you think this could never happen to you, well, that's what most people think.
Welcome to How to Survive, the series where we help you navigate life's unexpected nightmares, avoid murders, and maintain a solid, not today energy.
Today's nightmare? Stalkers. So, stalking. It's not just some creepy subplot in a bad Lifetime movie. It's a real, terrifying crime that happens way more than you think.
Yeah, and unlike the movies, the stalker isn't always some trench coat wearing weirdo lurking in the bushes. Sometimes it's your ex, your coworker, your super nice neighbor who's just way too interested in your grocery shopping schedule.
Stalking is serious. It's a pattern of unwanted behavior that makes you feel unsafe. And spoiler alert, it almost always escalates. So today, we're breaking it all down. How to spot the early warning signs, how to survive if you're being stalked, and what to do if someone you know is dealing with this.
We're also going to talk about pop culture's worst offenders, the movies and TV shows that straight up romanticize stalking.
Yeah, looking at you, Love Actually, because nothing says true love like showing up at someone's house with poster boards after they've already married your best friend.
Or the show that somehow convinced an entire generation that Joe Goldberg was just a misunderstood bookworm instead of a full-blown murderer with Wi-Fi.
Exactly. So buckle up, friends. Whether you're a true crime junkie or someone who just wants to make sure no one's tracking your Starbucks order history, this episode is for you.
Let's get into it.
All right, so before we dive into how not to get stalked, let's make sure we're all on the same page about what stalking really is.
Right? Because some people still think stalking just means liking someone's Instagram post from 2014.
Okay, listen, if someone accidentally deep dives into your feed and double taps your vacation pic from a decade ago, that's just embarrassing for them. Stalking, on the other hand, is a crime.
According to actual legal definitions, stalking is a pattern of unwanted behavior that makes someone feel scared, harassed, or unsafe. Keyword, pattern. It's not just one weird text. It's the repeated, escalating behavior that turns a minor, that's weird, moment into, oh my God, I need a security system.
And to put it in perspective, millions of people deal with this every year. The latest stats show that about 1 in 6 women and 1 in 17 men will be stalked in their lifetime.
And that's just the reported cases, because shocker, not everyone realizes they're being stalked until it gets really bad.
That's right. A lot of people brush it off at first, like, oh, he's just really persistent, or she just really likes to know where I am at all times.
Nope. If someone's tracking your location more than you do, we have a problem.
Exactly. And it's not always the stereotypical creepy guy lurking outside your house in the rain. Sometimes it's an ex who won't take the hint, or a coworker who just happens to take their lunch break at the same time you do every day.
Sometimes it's online. Cyberstalking is huge now. People using fake profiles, tracking your every move, sending 1,000 messages even when you're actively ignoring them.
Yeah, and newsflash, if someone texts you 5 times in a row and you haven't responded, they do not need to send a sixth.
But maybe they just didn't see my last message. They saw it, Kevin. They are actively choosing not to reply to you.
Right. So, moral of the story, stalking is a crime. It's common and it can happen to anyone. But don't worry, we're going to help you figure out how to shut that down before it escalates.
Up next, how to spot the early warning signs before you end up in a Dateline episode.
Okay, so now that we know what stalking is, let's talk about how it starts.
Because, spoiler alert, it usually doesn't start with full-blown nightmare mode. Nobody just wakes up one day and says, you know what, today feels like a great day to get a restraining order against somebody.
Right. Stalking almost always begins small. Little things that at first might seem harmless or even flattering.
So let's go through the Stalker Starter Pack. If you hear one of these and think, oh no, that's happened to me, congratulations, you might be someone's hyperfixation.
Red flag number 1, the coincidental run-in. You are at the grocery store grabbing some frozen pizza and, oh wow, there's that guy from your gym. Again.
And he's not wearing workout clothes. And this is the third time you've randomly bumped into him this week in 3 completely different places.
Big yikes. Once is a coincidence, twice is weird, 3 times that starts to feel premeditated.
Red flag number 2, excessive communication. Let's talk about too many texts. You go on one date and suddenly your phone looks like an unread novel.
Hey, hey again. How's your day? Not sure if you saw my last message. Are you mad at me? Hello. Wow, okay, guess you don't care.
Red flag. If someone is messaging you more than your mom does, that's a problem.
Red flag number 3, the I was just in the neighborhood excuse. Ah, classic. Oh, I just happened to be nearby.
Oh, really, Brad? You just happen to be outside my office at 7 a.m. holding 2 lattes despite the fact that you live 40 minutes away?
Yeah, amazing how that works.
Red flag number 4, unwanted gifts. Stalkers love to send gifts. And no, we're not talking about the cute, thinking of you flowers in a healthy relationship. We're talking creepy, unsolicited, why do you know my address kind of gifts.
Right. You reject a guy at a party, and suddenly there's a handwritten poem on your doorstep the next morning.
Full disclosure, if someone has written you a poem in the year 2025, unironically run.
Yep. Red flag number 5, tracking and monitoring your behavior. This is where things go from, haha, maybe he's just socially awkward, to, okay, call the police.
Stalkers love to keep tabs on their targets. They'll track your social media posts, ask your friends about you, or if they're really unhinged, use an actual tracking device.
Yep. We've seen air tags slipped into purses, GPS trackers stuck under cars. Stalkers these days aren't just creepy, they're tech savvy.
Red flag number 6, escalating to threats or violence. And our most final dangerous stage is when they start getting aggressive.
If someone goes from persistent to hostile when you ignore them, that's a huge warning sign.
Like, oh, you won't answer my text? Fine, I'll just show up at your house.
Or when they start guilt tripping you. I can't believe you're treating me like this. I thought we had something special.
Listen, no one who actually loves you would ever try to scare you into talking to them. Their responses to rejection is anger, manipulation, or threats. They were never safe to begin with.
So, what have we learned? If someone is giving you major creeper energy, don't gaslight yourself into thinking it's no big deal.
And this is so important. If your gut is saying something's off, believe it.
Absolutely. Up next, what to do when you realize someone's actually stalking you. Because once we know the red flags, it's time to shut it down. All right, so you've noticed the red flags, you've got a weird feeling, maybe your gut is screaming at you, or maybe you're already dealing some grade A stalker nonsense. Either way, it's time to act.
And the sooner, the better, because stalkers thrive on the hope that you'll ignore them or brush them off.
So step 1, no contact, no engagement, no letting them down easy. First rule of surviving a stalker, do not engage.
If someone is fixated on you, the absolute worst thing you can do is give them even a crumb of attention.
And I know some of you are nice people. You don't want to be rude. You think maybe I'll just politely tell them I'm not interested and they'll go away.
They will not. Stalkers don't do closure. If you give them a polite, please leave me alone, they hear, ooh, they're talking to me, and that means I still have a chance.
Exactly. So your response should be stone cold radio silence. No texts, no calls, no, hey, I just need some space.
You ghost them like your life depends on it, because it might.
Step number 2, block, report, lock down your digital life. Let's talk about digital security because in 2025, stalking isn't just following someone in person. It's about tracking their every move online.
First things first, block them everywhere. Social media, phone number, email. They find new ways to contact you, block those too.
Yeah, there's so many ways when you think about Snapchat and
Right.
TikTok and
Right.
a million different ways.
Yes.
And you need to make those social media avenues private. And I know some of y'all love to post every single detail of your lives, where you're getting coffee, what gym you just tucked into, your brand new haircut selfie with your exact location tagged.
Stop that. If you're dealing with a stalker, do not post in real time. Post that cute brunch pic after you've already left.
And for the love of all things holy, turn off location sharing. Check your phone settings, make sure apps aren't tracking you, and stop letting Snapchat tell people where you are at all times.
Oh, and while we're here, change your passwords. Because if your stalker is an ex, there's a good chance they know your logins, your Netflix password, your super secure childhood pet's name.
Exactly. Step number 3, document everything. If things are starting to escalate, you need receipts.
Stalkers love to gaslight their victims. Oh, I wasn't following you. That was just a coincidence. You're imagining things.
Nope. That's why you write everything down. Keep a stalking log. Include date, time, location of incidents, what they did, what they said, screenshots of texts, emails, social media messages, photos of them lurking around if possible. But remember, be safe about that one.
The more evidence you have, the easier it is to get law enforcement to actually take you seriously.
Which brings us to step 4, involve law enforcement, even if they suck at it. Look, let's be honest, getting the police to take stalking seriously can be a nightmare.
Yep. A lot of times they won't do anything until there's already been a threat or actual violence, which is insane because stalking almost always escalates.
But that's why you have your stalking log. So when you go to police, you're not just saying, I feel unsafe. You're showing them a pattern of harassment.
Ask to file a formal report. Even if they say there's nothing we can do, get it on record.
If they keep brushing you off, go higher. Ask to speak to a supervisor. Get a lawyer involved if you have to.
And if you do get a restraining order, be realistic about it.
Yeah, because let's be clear, a restraining order is just a piece of paper. It's not a magic force field. It's helpful for legal protection, but you still have to take all the other safety measures. Which brings us to step 5, upgrade your safety game. Let's talk about physical safety.
Number 1, trust your gut. If something feels wrong, it probably is.
Be unpredictable. Change your routine. Take different routes home. Don't make yourself an easy target.
Home security. Get a security camera, even a doorbell cam helps. Lock your doors, even in the safe neighborhoods. Park in well-lit areas and always check your backseat before getting into your car.
And remember, lock those windows. Lock all the parts.
Yes.
Morbid, do you ever listen to that podcast?
I haven't.
Their favorite phrase is fresh airs for dead people.
Yes. I'm like, I literally have never in my life kept a window open.
No.
Ever.
Nope. Don't do it.
Whether I was on the first level, the second level, the third level,
Mhm.
those windows and doors stay locked.
Always. If your stalker has ever had access to your home, change your locks.
And if you really want next level security, get a personal safety alarm or pepper spray. Because if some creep ever does try something, you want to be ready.
Yeah, maybe get both.
For sure.
Step number 6, tell people and build a safety network. Stalkers love when their victims feel isolated. That's why you need backup.
Tell your friends, your coworkers, your neighbors. The more people keeping an eye out for suspicious behavior, the better.
If you're in school or at work, tell security. Give them a heads up so they know to look out for this person.
Another idea, if you have to, is have a code word with close friends and family, something you can text or say that lets them know, hey, I'm in danger, call for help.
Yeah, we do this with my daughter where she has a specific emoji. She can just text me and I know she needs me to come get her right then.
It's a great idea.
Yeah. But the code word, that's important.
Mm-hmm.
Bottom line, stalking is never okay. It's not romantic, it's not flattering, and it's definitely not something you should ignore.
Please, 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 if your gut says this is not normal, listen to it.
Protect yourself, document everything, and don't be afraid to make noise about it.
Up next, what to do if someone you know is being stalked and how not to be the person who says, are you sure you're not overreacting?
Right. So let's say it's not you being stalked, but someone you care about is going through it. What do you do?
Well, first of all, don't be that person who says, are you sure you're not overreacting?
Because trust me, nobody wants to be in a real life horror movie. If someone is telling you they're scared, believe them.
Step 1, listen, don't minimize. When someone tells you they think they're being stalked, your response should never be, oh, I'm sure it's nothing. You're probably just imagining it. They just like you.
Right. Those are wrong answers across the board. Instead, try, that sounds scary. Tell me everything. I believe you. Let's figure out what to do. Do you feel safe right now?
Stalking victims are often gaslit by their stalkers, by police, sometimes even by their own friends. Your job, be their reality check. If their gut is telling them something is wrong, support them in taking it seriously.
Step 2, help them document everything. Remember when we talked about keeping a stalking log? This is where you come in. If your friend is overwhelmed, offer to help them track and organize what's happening.
A few ways to help: encourage them to keep records, texts, screenshots, voicemails, photos. Offer to help them organize it. Some people panic and don't think to keep track. If you witness something, write it down. If you see the stalker harassing them, your statement could help prove a pattern of behavior.
Also, help them notice those patterns. Maybe they think it's just a coincidence that their ex shows up at their gym a lot. But if you see that it happens every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 p.m., that's a pattern.
Encourage action, but don't force it. Here's the tricky part. You want to help, but don't bulldoze over their autonomy.
Right. You might be screaming, call the police right now. But if they're not ready for that step, respect that.
Instead of pushing them, try empowering them. What do you think would help you feel safer? Would you like me to go with you to talk to the police? I can help you look into restraining orders if you want.
The goal is to support, not steamroll, because stalking is terrifying and victims often feel powerless. So the last thing they need is someone else taking over their decisions.
Step 4, boost their physical and digital safety. Okay, now let's talk about actual safety measures because you can't just manifest a stalker away.
If your friend is scared, help them with practical safety upgrades. Home security offer to install a doorbell cam, help them change the locks, check their home for hidden tracking devices. Yeah, stalkers do that. Have a buddy system, walk them to their car, invite them to stay over if they're afraid to be alone. Digital lockdown, help them tighten up social media privacy settings and turn off location sharing.
Also, don't tag them in places until after they've left. If you post brunch with Sarah at Cafe Bliss and Sarah has a stalker, congrats, you just gave them her location.
Right. Step 5, be their safety contact. If your friend is really scared, offer to be their emergency contact. Create a check-in system. They text you when they get home safely. If they don't, you call or check on them. Have a danger word, something subtle they can say in a conversation if they're in trouble. Make a plan. If they're being followed, do they come to your house, call you first, go straight to the police station?
Even just knowing that they have someone looking out for them can make a huge difference.
Step 6, go with them if they need to report it. If they do decide to go to the police, offer to go with them because unfortunately, a lot of stalking victims are not taken seriously.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than gathering all your evidence, walking into a police station, and having some dude behind the desk say, well, has he actually hurt you yet?
Infuriating. This is why backup matters. A second person, especially one who can stay calm and advocate for them, makes a huge difference.
If the police are dismissive, ask for a supervisor. Keep pushing.
Step 7, keep showing up. Finally, don't disappear. A lot of people check in once, then assume everything is fine.
But stalking cases can go on for months, even years, so your friend needs ongoing support.
That means keep checking in, even if things seem quiet. Let them know they can reach out at any time. If they start second guessing themselves, remind them why their fear is valid.
Bottom line, be the kind of friend you'd want if it were you.
Helping a friend who's being stalked isn't just saying that sucks. It's about actually showing up for them.
Believe them, support them, help them stay safe, and above all, don't minimize what they're going through.
All right, up next, how Hollywood keeps screwing up stalking stories and what pop culture gets very wrong about this crime.
Pop culture and stalking myths.
So far, we've covered what stalking really looks like, but you know who does not understand stalking? Hollywood.
Absolutely. If we believed everything we saw on TV, stalking is just an intense romance with a dramatic soundtrack.
Again, Love Actually, I'm really looking at you.
It's a movie I've never liked.
Me either.
Yeah, I
Mm-mm.
don't get the allure of it,
Mm-mm.
right? Nothing says healthy boundaries like showing up at your best friend's wife's house with a bunch of poster boards declaring your undying love.
Yeah, if that happens in real life, she better be calling the police, not standing there with misty eyes like, you emotionally tormented me in secret? That's so sweet.
And don't even get me started on you.
Oh, you mean the show that somehow convinced millions of people that Joe was just a misunderstood book nerd instead of a homicidal stalker?
Yeah, exactly. Because apparently, if you're cute and have a good vocabulary, you can stalk and murder people, and half the audience will still root for you.
The bar is so low, it's in the basement.
Another show I don't understand.
No. Myth number 1, stalking is just persistence, aka the rom-com lie.
One of the biggest lies pop culture tells us is that stalking is just persistence.
Right, like if you chase her long enough, she'll eventually fall for you.
No doesn't mean no. It just means try harder.
Hollywood loves this. Movies like The Notebook, Say Anything, Twilight, they all sell this idea that a guy following you around, ignoring your boundaries, and refusing to take no for an answer is romantic.
Like, oh my God, he climbed into my window and watched me sleep. That's not terrifying. That's just true love.
In reality, if someone is ignoring your no, they are not your soulmate, they are a problem.
Myth number 2, stalking is only done by creepy strangers. Another giant myth, that stalkers are always random strangers lurking in the shadows.
Yeah, in real life, most stalkers aren't randos. They're people the victim already knows, like exes who can't let go, coworkers who take friendly to a creepy level, acquaintances who mistake casual politeness for undying devotion.
Meanwhile, TV makes it seem like every stalker is just some hooded figure breathing heavily into a phone, like a rejected horror villain. Hello, Scream.
Right.
Which I do love.
I do
love Scream.
I do love Scream too. Real life stalking, though, isn't usually dramatic music in alleyways. It's repeated, relentless boundary pushing from someone who refuses to accept reality.
Myth number 3, stalking only happens to women. Next myth, that stalking only happens to women.
Yeah, while most stalking victims are women, it absolutely happens to men too. 1 in 17 men will be stalked in their lifetime. Men also can be stalked by exes, coworkers, strangers, of course, just like women. But because of how it's perceived, male victims often don't get taken seriously.
Yeah, people who still have this dumb idea that if a man is being stalked, it's either not a big deal or worse, he should be flattered.
Right. No one should ever be flattered by fear.
There is a case I've read about where actually I watched the TV show where it was that exactly that a man was being stalked by a girl he went on like 2 dates with and then met another woman. So that original girl killed
Oh my word.
the new love interest
Ooh.
and inserted herself back into his life, but was also using the new love interest that she killed, using like her laptop to send messages And this went on for
Oh
years
my gosh.
to where, and then they finally were able to connect it because some of the messages started not making sense.
Mm.
And then they were able to track the URL and relate. And oh, that was the thing too. She worked for like the sheriff's department. So they were able to track it to inside the sheriff's department. It was a crazy story. But yeah, this went on
Oh,
for years
wow.
that she stalked this man, but had actually gotten back into his life because the other girl went missing. But in reality, she had killed her.
Oh, we might need to cover that case sometime.
Yeah.
That sounds wild.
Myth number 4, restraining orders solve everything. Another giant Hollywood lie, that getting a restraining order magically makes the stalker disappear.
Yeah, I love how in movies a stalker gets served a restraining order and suddenly they're like, oh no, a piece of paper. I must obey the law now.
Meanwhile, in real life, half of stalkers ignore restraining orders entirely. Up to 40% of restraining orders are violated. Some stalkers see them as a challenge. Law enforcement isn't always quick to enforce them.
That doesn't mean you shouldn't get one. Having it on record can help if things escalate, but just remember it's not an instant fix. You still need the backup safety measures we discussed.
Myth number 5, if it's online, it's not real stalking. Next, let's talk about cyber stalking because some people still think if it's not happening in person, it's not real. I think this is probably more prevalent now than, old school stalking of in person.
For sure. Because you can do it from home.
Right. Comfort of your phone, anywhere, anytime, 24/7.
Absolutely. Being terrorized online is just as real and just as dangerous. Cyber stalking can lead to in-person stalking. Doxing, which is having your private info leaked, can put you in danger. Harassment online can be relentless and inescapable.
But you know who does not take cyber stalking seriously? Most of the internet.
Yeah, it's always just block them or log off.
Yeah, let me just stop using my phone, my email, and my entire existence because someone else won't respect my boundaries.
The solution isn't for victims to disappear, it's for stalkers to be held accountable.
So to recap, stalking is not persistence. It's usually not a stranger. Men can also be victims. Restraining orders are not magic. And cyberstalking is real and dangerous.
Hollywood might sell you the idea that stalking is passionate love, but in real life, it's a crime. All right, folks, we've discussed the warning signs and protective measures against stalking. Let's delve into a real life case that tragically underscores the dangers of this crime: the murder of Shana Grice.
Shana Grice was a 19-year-old from Brighton, England, whose life was tragically cut short in 2016. Her story highlights not only the perils of stalking, but also the catastrophic consequences of systematic failures.
Shana worked at Brighton Fire Alarms, where she met Michael Lane, a mechanic. They had a brief relationship during a break in Shana's long-term relationship with her boyfriend, Ashley Koch. When Shana ended things with Lane and reconciled with Koch, Lane became obsessively fixated on her.
Lane's behavior escalated quickly. He began stalking Shana relentlessly. Unwanted gifts, he sent her flowers she didn't want, tampering with her car, he damaged her vehicle, a tactic often used by stalkers to instill fear and exert control. He also began tracking her movements. Lane installed a tracking device on her car, receiving alerts every time it moved.
Feeling threatened, Shana reported Lane's behavior to Sussex police multiple times over several months. In February 2016, she reported receiving unwanted flowers and damage to her car. The police gave Lane words of advice, but took no formal action.
March 2016, after Lane assaulted her by pulling her hair and grabbing her phone, Shana reported the incident. Instead of protecting her, the police fined her £90 for wasting their time, accusing her of not disclosing her prior relationship with Lane.
Infuriating. Can you believe she's trying to get help and the police fined her?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So she deals with it until July 2016. Lane used a stolen key to enter Shana's home while she slept. She woke up to the sound of footsteps and saw him leaving. Lane was arrested for theft, cautioned, and advised to stay away from her.
Also, July 2016, the day after the break-in, Shana received multiple calls from a withheld number, including one with heavy breathing. Despite the alarming nature of the calls, the police informed her there were no further lines of inquiry and filed the case away.
Then, also July 2016, Lane followed Shana to work, prompting another report to the police. This incident was deemed, air quotes, low risk, and no immediate action was taken.
Crazy. Despite these clear signs of escalating danger, the police consistently failed to recognize the severity of the situation. Their dismissive attitude left Shanna vulnerable and isolated.
On August 25th, 2016, Lane's obsession culminated in a horrific act. He waited until Shanna was alone at home, broke in, slit her throat, and set her bedroom on fire in an attempt to cover his tracks. Her body was discovered by her boyfriend's father.
The aftermath of Shanna's murder revealed systematic failures. It emerged that Lane had been the subject of complaints from 13 other women over the preceding decade, highlighting a disturbing pattern of behavior that had gone unchecked. The Independent Office of Police Conduct, the IOPC, launched an investigation into Sussex Police's handling of Shanna's complaints. The investigation led to disciplinary action against several officers and recommendations for improved training and procedures.
Shanna's parents have been vocal about the need for systematic change, emphasizing that their daughter paid with her life for the police's lack of training and poor attitude towards stalking complaints.
This tragic case serves as a stark reminder of the lethal potential of stalking and the critical importance of taking victims' concerns seriously. It underscores the need for law enforcement to be adequately trained and responsive to prevent tragedies in the future.
Up next, we'll discuss the legal avenues available for stalking victims and how to navigate the often complex justice system to protect yourself.
Your safety and awareness are our top priorities.
We are going to delve into specifically Arizona law, and then we will give you resources for no matter where you live. But by going into specifically Arizona, you can get an idea of how it works in any state.
Yes, absolutely. Understanding your legal rights and the steps you can take is crucial. Let's break it down.
First, let's define stalking as per Arizona. It's a little infuriating that every state is different.
Yeah, that makes things a little bit more difficult.
It does. In Arizona, a person commits stalking if they intentionally or knowingly engage in a course of conduct directed towards another person, causing the victim to, 1, suffer emotional distress or reasonably fear that their property will be damaged or destroyed. They, a family member, or someone they have a close relationship with will be physically injured. And number 2, if they reasonably, it's not even specific enough.
Well, and I like how property is put before
Death.
Family member.
And then also death.
Yeah.
If they reasonably fear death of themselves or someone they have a close relationship with.
If someone's behavior is making you fear for your safety or that of your loved ones, it's considered stalking.
And also your property.
Right. And your stuff.
Gosh. The penalties for stalking in Arizona depend on the victim's reaction to the stalker's conduct.
Class 3 felony. If the victim fears death for themselves or an immediate family member, the offender faces up to 7 years in prison.
Class 5 felony. If the victim suffers emotional distress or fears for their safety, but not death, the offender faces up to 4 years in prison.
These penalties underscore the seriousness with which Arizona treats stalking offenses.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago when stalking wasn't even a crime, which blows my mind.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I guess that's better than nothing because these seem very low anyway, but I guess we have to start somewhere.
Right. One of the primary legal tools available is a protective order, commonly known as a restraining order. In Arizona, there are a few types.
1, order of protection, designed to prevent acts of domestic violence. It's applicable where there's a specific relationship between the victim and the defendant, such as current or former spouses, individuals who live or have lived together, individuals who have a child together, and a romantic or sexual relationship past or present.
Number 2, an injunction against harassment. This is suitable when the relationship doesn't fall under the categories required for an order of protection. This can be used when the defendant has committed a series of acts, read more than one, of harassment over a period of time.
And number 3, injunction against workplace harassment, filed by an employer to protect an employee or the workplace from harassment. It's essential to determine which order fits your situation to ensure you receive the appropriate protection.
Every state has a little bit of a different way to do this. And like I said, we'll link to all of them so you can find where to do yours. But Arizona has streamlined the process of obtaining a protective order, and they use a website that's azpoint.azcourts.gov. And to navigate the system, this portal guides you through filling out the necessary forms to request a protective order.
That's actually rather convenient.
Yeah, that you don't even have to go in.
Right.
Yeah.
2. Complete the guided interview. AZ Point provides a step-by-step interview to gather all required information. Your data will be saved in the system for up to 90 days, allowing you to return and complete it as needed.
Number 3, file your petition. Once you've completed the interview, you'll need to file the petition at an Arizona court. While AZ Point helps you prepare all the documents, the petition isn't officially filed until you submit it to the court.
So I know you can probably just submit it to whichever courthouse is closest to you as a reference.
Yeah.
And number 4, then you attend the hearing. After filing, a judge will review your petition. They may issue the protective order immediately or schedule a hearing to gather more information. Just remember, there's no fee to use Arizona Point or to file a petition for a protective order. So that's huge because a lot of people think it costs money and it doesn't.
Yes, keep that in mind, and I hope that all states follow that as well.
I've never heard of a state that charged money to file an order of protection.
Good. Once a protective order is in place, it's crucial to understand its enforcement.
The defendant must be served with the order for it to be enforceable. Law enforcement agencies often handle this process.
If the defendant violates the protective order, it's a criminal offense. You should report any violations to law enforcement immediately.
Protective orders are tools to enhance your safety. However, always remain vigilant and continue to take personal safety measures.
There are additional resources and support. Beyond legal measures, several resources can offer support. Available resources, there are a lot of them, and we'll detail 6 at the end of this episode, including what they do, their contact information, phone numbers, websites, etc. Up next, we'll discuss personal safety strategies and how to build a support network to protect yourself from potential threats.
Your safety is our priority.
All right, we've covered some of the legal routes, but let's be real, legal measures are just one part of the equation. Sometimes you have to take your safety into your own hands while waiting for the system to catch up.
Exactly. Protective orders are great in theory, but they don't stop someone determined to harass or harm you. That's why having a personal safety plan is just as important.
Step 1, strengthen your home security. First things first, make it harder for someone to access your home. Stalkers rely on familiarity, routines, and weak security. Time to throw them off.
Upgrade your locks. If the stalker ever had access to your home, change your locks immediately.
Install security cameras or a video doorbell. Devices like Ring, Nest, or Arlo let you see who's outside and record footage.
Use a doorstop alarm. These wedge under your door and go off if someone tries to break in.
Look into getting motion sensor lights. These deter stalkers from lurking in the dark.
Don't hide spare keys outside. Stalkers know the classic under the mat trick or under the rock.
Yeah.
And if you rent and can't install a full security system, you can still get a portable security bar for your door,
Window alarms that go off if the glass is broken,
and privacy film for windows to prevent someone from peeking inside.
and apartments and different complexes. I believe that it is not legal for them to not let you add an additional lock to your front door.
I would think so.
Yeah. So even if they tell you no, you can't, check with your state laws, but I'm pretty sure that you can
Yeah.
in every state. And remember the goal, we want to make it clear that trying to mess with you is a losing game.
Vary your routine. Stalkers love predictability if they know exactly when you leave for work, where you grocery shop, or your favorite running route, and they'll use that against you.
So change up those routes, take different streets, leave at different times.
Avoid the solo trips if possible. Go places with a friend or coworker when you can.
Be aware of being followed. If a car follows you through multiple turns, drive to a police station or even a crowded area. And if your stalker is tech savvy, check your car for tracking devices. They're shockingly easy to hide under bumpers or inside wheel wells.
If you find a tracker, don't remove it yourself. Drive to a police station and have them handle it. It could be considered evidence.
Step 3, lock down your digital footprint. In 2025, like we've talked about, stalking isn't just about watching you in person, it's about tracking your entire online existence.
Make your social media private. If your accounts are public, you're giving your stalker free intel.
Turn off those location services. Apps like Snapchat, Instagram, and even Google Maps can be sharing your location without you realizing it.
Do not geotag in real time. Wait until you've left the location to post.
Google yourself. See what personal information is out there. Is your address public? If it is, request removal from data broker sites like Spokeo or White Pages.
Use two-factor authentication. If your stalker has hacked into your accounts before, change all your passwords and enable 2FA so they can't get back in. And if you're dealing with cyberstalking, screenshot everything. Texts, messages, DMs.
Block and report them on every platform.
Consider getting a new phone number if they keep finding ways to contact you.
Step 4, carry personal safety tools. Okay, let's talk self-defense. We don't want you to need to use it, but we want you to have it just in case.
Pepper spray or stun gun, legal in most states, but check your local laws.
Yeah, I couldn't get a stun gun on Amazon.
Wow.
They wouldn't ship me one, but they would ship me pepper spray.
Interesting.
Yeah. A personal alarm, loud as hell, great for drawing attention if someone approaches you.
A tactical flashlight. These can temporarily blind an attacker and double as a self-defense tool.
Consider self-defense training. Knowing how to escape a grab or a chokehold can literally save your life.
And car safety tips, always check your back seat before getting in.
Lock your doors as soon as you're inside.
And if you think someone's following you, do not drive home. Go to a police station or a well-lit public area.
I feel like we have to keep saying it for the people in the back. If someone's following you, do not go home.
Right. You're just leading them right to your place.
Step 5, build a support network. You do not have to go through this alone. Surround yourself with people who take your safety seriously.
Tell your friends and family. Let them know what's happening and what to look for.
Set up check-ins. If you're out late, have someone you text when you get home safely.
Have a danger code word. If you ever need help without tipping off the stalker, a code word lets your friend know to call 911.
And I would also add, have that find a friend.
Yes.
I mean, lock it down, but have it so that they can make sure you're getting home
Yes.
when you're supposed to.
Yes. And if you live alone, tell your neighbors to keep an eye out.
If you ever feel unsafe coming home, call someone and stay on the line.
And if you feel like someone is watching you, trust your gut and don't go inside alone.
Step number 6, know when to escalate the situation. If your stalker isn't backing off, it's time to go full force.
Press charges. If they keep violating a protective order, keep pushing law enforcement to act.
Contact victim advocacy groups. They can help you navigate the legal system and access resources.
If law enforcement doesn't act, get a lawyer. There are pro bono legal services that can help take civil action. And if you're in immediate danger, call 911.
Have an escape plan if they show up somewhere you don't expect.
And go somewhere safe and public, not home, when they know where you live.
Bottom line, stalking is terrifying, but you are not powerless.
Strengthen your security, change up your habits, lock down your digital footprint, and most importantly, don't try to handle this situation alone.
If something feels off, take action because your safety is worth way more than someone else's comfort.
Up next, our final wrap-up, including key takeaways and how to keep yourself in the not today stalkers mindset.
All right, we've covered a lot in this episode. If you've stuck with us this far, first of all, thank you. This is a tough topic, but an important one.
And second of all, congrats. You are now way less likely to be clueless when it comes to stalking.
Let's run through the biggest takeaways one last time.
Red flags. Stalking usually starts small. Unwanted gifts, excessive messages, accidental run-ins. Don't brush it off. Trust your gut.
No contact, no engagement. Stalkers thrive on attention. Don't feed the obsession. Block, report, and shut it down.
Document everything. Screenshots, texts, timestamps, paper trails matter. If things escalate, you need proof.
Get legal protection. Again, restraining orders aren't perfect, but they create legal consequences for stalkers who won't back off.
Lock down that digital life. Turn off location sharing, make accounts private, Google yourself to see what's out there.
Upgrade your locks, install cameras, vary your routine, and carry personal safety tools.
Build a support network. Tell your friends, set up check ins, have a code word for emergencies.
Take action ASAP. The sooner you address stalking behavior, the harder it is for it to escalate.
If you take nothing else from this episode, let it be this: you are not overreacting. If someone is making you feel unsafe, that is reason enough to take action.
Stalking is not flattering, it is not persistence, and it is not love. It's a crime, and you have every right to protect yourself. There are additional resources and support. Beyond legal measures, several resources can offer support.
Victim advocacy groups, organizations that provide counseling, safety planning, and support throughout the legal process.
Address confidentiality program. Arizona offers a program to help victims keep their addresses confidential from their stalkers.
Remember, you're not alone. Reach out to local support services to guide you through this challenging time.
Navigating the legal system can absolutely be daunting, but understanding your rights and resources available is the first step towards reclaiming your safety and peace of mind.
Here are the resources that are nationwide and can help no matter where you live.
Absolutely. If you or someone you know is experiencing stalking, it's crucial to access appropriate resources for support and guidance.
First one is Victim Connect Resource Center. It's a program of the National Center for Victims of Crime. Victim Connect offers confidential assistance to victims of all crimes, including stalking. They provide information, emotional support, and referrals to local resources. Their contact info is phone 1-855-4-VICTIM or 1-855-484-2846, and the website is victimconnect.org.
Number 2, Stalking Prevention Awareness and Resource Center, which is SPARC. They provide education and resources on stalking, aiming to enhance the response to stalking by educated professionals and the public. They do not offer direct services to victims, but they provide valuable information and resources. You can find them at stalkingawareness.org.
Number 3 is the National Domestic Violence Hotline. This hotline offers 24/7 support to individuals affected by domestic violence, including those experiencing stalking by a current or former intimate partner. Their contact information is 1-800-799-SAFE, which is 7233. Their TTY number is 1-800-787-3224, and their website is thehotline.org.
And then there's RAIN, which is RAINN, Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. They operate the National Sexual Assault Hotline, and they provide support to survivors of sexual violence, which often intersects with stalking situations. Their phone number is 1-800-656-HOPE, which is 4673. And their website is RAINN.org.
Number 5, Office for Victims of Crime, the OVC. It's the Directory of Crime Victim Services. The OVC offers a comprehensive directory to help victims locate support services in their area, including those for stalking victims. Their website is ovc.ojp.gov/directories/crime/victims/services.
And number 6 is the National Center for Victims of Crime. This organization provides resources and advocacy for victims of all types of crime, including stalking. And their website is victimsofcrime.org.
Remember, reaching out for help is a vital step towards safety and recovery. These organizations are equipped to provide guidance, support, and connections to local resources tailored to your specific situation. Do not hesitate to contact them if you or someone you know is facing stalking or related issues.
And to everyone listening, stay smart, stay safe. If you found this episode helpful, please rate, review, share it. This information.
Send us a message and maybe we'll share it in a future episode.
For more resources and tips, check out the links in our show notes and also on our blog, which you can find at crimeclueless.com under the contributors section. And remember, your safety is worth more than someone else's feelings.
Thanks for listening, and until next time, stay aware, stay alert. Not today, stalkers.
Yes. Thank you, Shannon, for joining me today.
Yes, this was fun.
It was great. This series is going to be one of my favorites.
Yeah.
I think next up we're going to do kidnapping.
Oh, that'll be good.
I have Well, I had sent them to you on accident.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the ideas.
Yes. Kidnapping, home invasion, locked up, how to get out of a truck, how to spot a dangerous stranger, if you wake up somewhere you don't recognize, how to escape if you're tied up, if you're lost or trapped in the wilderness, how to get out of a moving car, surviving a mass shooting.
Oh, God.
Which,
You might as well get the entire cheer crew in here for
yeah.
that one.
Oh, man. If you get caught in a riot or mob, how to escape a dangerous date.
Ooh.
How to get out of a cult. If you've ever been followed while driving. This series is going to be one of my favorites.
Yeah.
All right. Well, remember, refuse to be clueless, careless, or caught off guard.
Not today, stalkers.